Hello and welcome to Dario's Comic School, and today we'll take a look at Joe Madureira and my deep love for his art and artwork. Should this be the thumbnail? Something like this maybe. I don't know, can I hide my hands? Like this would be awesome without this. So Joe Madureira is a freaking boss, and what do I have to say? You can even see once I started drawing comics at school, I guess in first grade, I did something called Fishman, which would have been like Xmen only with fish, and a bit strange, but you can see I used this comic and I drew on this comic. As you can see, I wouldn't recommend you do this with your comics, but this is how long I wanted to make comics. And Joe Madureira was a huge influence on me. And I think in that summer of 1996, this is where I fell in love. I saw this on the newsstands, and my cousin from Italy, I guess I was 11 years old, it was Age of Apocalypse. I didn't know much about the Xmen, and bam, this is what you see first. I mean, what's there to say? I mean, I'm sold for life. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And imagine, like, in 3 years, it's almost like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 30 years. Look at this. Can you go to your newsstands or comic shop and get a comic like this? Tell me. Is the answer yes? Is the answer no? Tell me. Like, look at the quality that was required, and written by Scott Lobdell. Great stories. I mean, at a certain point, the artwork and the stories declined, probably because the age of internet. So comics were competing with a lot of other stuff, and so maybe sales go down and quality of art goes down. Print, you know what I mean? Like, the price drops because people get their needs met elsewhere. But this is still quality today. Sorry that I'm rambling on for 2 minutes. And then the inks by Tim Townsend. I mean, that guy is also like really good. And I mean, let me just show you iconic covers before we get into the great sequential art. Like, look, bam, bam. This is on the newsstands in Italy. I mean, or in Germany. What are you gonna do? You're gonna buy this. You're gonna think, what is this? I have to have it. Then you open up the first page. You think, okay, it looks good, and then boom, this is your second page. I mean, what the? Look at this. Look at the artwork. Sure, maybe some. I think Art Adams was a huge influence on him, and manga and Capcom, Street Fighter style, and probably, I don't know, Jim Lee. I have to reread. Somewhere in here, there's an interview with Joe Madureira, and he tells me, you, the reader, what his influences are. And then look at this. Xmen Alpha. Look at this. I mean, come on. I mean, kayfabe laughed about this just gimmicky stuff, but I was 11, 12 years old, and this still makes my heart sing. I mean, look, is it gimmicky? Yes, it is, but it is effort. It is effort put into a product. I have to say, somewhere I got the poster, and without this chromy shiny thing, it looks a bit better, I would say. But I mean, look at this. It's a summer event. It's a summer blockbuster, stretching like this Age of Apocalypse, stretching through multiple comic series. Their reality is bent. And I have to say, some don't like it, but this Wolverine was badass. And that Magneto leads the X-Men. I mean, good lord, what a great story. Here we have drawings by Roger Cruz. We'll come to this guy a bit later. But here, another iconic cover. Look at this. You're going to pick it up. And that was a time where there were comic shops around, brick and mortar stores. And in Italy, edicole, as newsstands. And look at this, like Sabretooth versus Holocaust. Like, and then in the background, Blink. And I have to say, like, look, this is where it starts. Okay? First page, splash page, people running around, Rogue in the middle of it, leading the X-Men team. And then look at this. Boom. Like, this is a big picture summer movie. This is the quality that used to be in comics. I mean, some people can say, okay, it's just X-Men, it's just Marvel. But I don't care. Because this is like an all-star team. This is Scott Lobdell, Joe Madureira, Dan Green, Tim Townsend, Steve Buccellato on the colors and Digital Chameleon. And then look at the action here. Like Sunfire trying, like, look at this. Like, is this not impressive? And there's even more impressive artwork, like right here, when somebody, like you got the X-Mansion, and then they're talking, and then look at this, like the shadow and storm, beautifully drawn, in the background, funny stuff. I know it is maybe a bit more manga or a bit more different than comics used to be, but then Blink opens a portal, falls there, and then she points out there's something coming, and then look at this, boom. And look at this, like great inks, probably Tim Townsend, Dan Green also helping here out a lot, but then like just the artwork, just like these faces and the care that is put into every figure. And look at this, like this face. Sure, they, if you have a point of critique, like Joe Madureira's faces look pretty much all the same, but I don't care. You can give me this anytime, any day, any year. Like, it looks amazing. And here, I think, is it where it just looks great. Sure, it's also pretty simplified. Like, it's not super much sometimes going on. No backgrounds. But as Mike Mignola says, once you have introduced your setting, like here we get Manhattan, or what was once Manhattan, then we have here Apocalypse's fortress, and then we know where we are. We don't need great great backgrounds. And this looks very cartoony, like an animated TV show, and I'm fine with this. I truly love it. Look at this. Sabretooth staring at the ruins of Chicago. What do you need more? I mean, it's simple shapes, but it's very, very beautiful. And then Blink shows up, and beautiful writing here from Scott Lobdell. And it's a symbiosis of the art and the story that makes it so great. Because, like, these characters, I barely know them, and I'm already caring because, like, this, I guess, is issue 2 or issue 3. Let me see. I don't know. I don't remember. I guess this is issue 2, and Creed wants to go and find Holocaust, and she wants to stop him. She doesn't want him to die, but yeah, he's going on a mission alone. And look at this art. Like, look at the eyes and just the poses, and then he finds the guy, and then they start battling. And this is also a thing, like Joe Madureira. I mean, look at the pages, just the fights. And I will show you, I have tons of comics, like this run, this era where Joe Madureira draws for X-Men. It's just, for me, definitely a magical age. And look here, he's confronting this guy. I mean, pretty amazing size. I mean, it's a bit over the top, but come on, who doesn't like over the top or the movie over the top? And then Creed having some internal bleedings, and then look at this panel. I mean, this is what moved me to draw comics, or to wanting to draw comics. I'm not at this level. A bunch of stuff I tried. Sometimes you gotta see what works for you. But when I was young, I know this Wolverine I drew a million times and never got there. Maybe today I can try. Maybe I think now I could take it. Now I could construct it. I could draw it from the picture, and I might also be able to construct it. And we will learn this. This is called the comic school for a reason. And you need the movies or the comics. You need the stories if you want to be a comic writer artist. Like, these are not comic writer artists, but right there, there are a bunch of Mike Mignola comics, and right there's a bunch of Frank Miller comics, and those people are writer artists, and they also get themselves help if they need to from inkers, colorists, or other writers. And yeah, like here starts Andy Kubert. Look at this cover. This cover, like you could frame this. You could frame this, and this is the German Xmen, and pretty nice print. As you can see, this is from the 90s, and it's pristine. It's mint. That's like it was a holy grail for me. Look at this, like, beautiful stuff. Joe Madureira always delivered. He never disappointed. I think, like, there's sometimes Adam Kubert didn't live up to my expectations. Andy sometimes didn't, and it's not something consciously. It's something that you say, oh man, is this good? And sure, sometimes how do I have to say? Sometimes it has to be your cup of tea, or sometimes your taste has to align to this, or whatever this is. But for me, it was totally cool. Like, I loved it. And great stuff. And let's take a look at art inside. Yeah, just every panel really great. I think that in this issue, I'm seeing, like, probably in the later X-Men issues where there's a bunch of talking and just things going back and forth, something changes. I don't know what changes, but maybe an artist needs a cool project where he really can sink his teeth into. And in this era, I think, like, he put in some extra sauce. I don't know why. I think probably he was pumped that the Age of Apocalypse was coming. So in my eyes, these 4 issues, or even those in the Age of Apocalypse, are his best. And then he always delivers, like also in later X-Men, but things start to get, I don't know, just a bit dull, just a bit lifeless. I mean, this issue, here's the interview. I'm gonna read it later. But let me see, where are his influences? Yeah, he talks about Japanese manga, and where is it? Well, I will find it, but probably he says Arthur Adams and J. Scott Campbell and something like this. But as you can see, I don't know, in later issues, he kind of starts to get tired. He delivers great quality, but he doesn't go the extra mile anymore. And then I guess he stops, and one day then he does comics, but he delivers like really high quality over all this time, and issues upon issues upon issues. I have to say, see what time. I mean, look at this. Look how thick this book is. I don't know. I'm just guessing, like 80 pages, and then later on Carlos Pacheco comes into play, and I know he died, and I don't want to talk bad about him, but and my cousin always used to like Carlos Pacheco so much, but he's wonky. Like, look at this. This is not the same beauty, not the same grace and strengths as a Joe Madureira, and it doesn't have to be. Like, you don't have to be a copy clone. You need to find out what you are. I'm just saying there are some principles, and the principles here ring a bit more, I don't know if truer is a word, but as you get the fundamentals right, you start doing things better and better. And I don't want to say that Carlos Pacheco doesn't have the fundamentals right, but this woman doesn't look very beautiful or womanly. It's just not my cup of tea. But yeah, this is beautiful, but just in comparison. And I did like Carlos Pacheco, but it wasn't the same anymore. Look at this. Like, every panel, everything, like the legacy he left behind. There is no bad cover, almost. Like, and sure, he was already a while in here, because I have an older comic, and in that older comic, I wanted to keep this video short, but in the older comics, he draws a bit different, and then he finds his style, and maybe he finds his inker, but here Roger Cruz again. I will go into Roger Cruz. I liked him very much. We'll see what we have to say about Roger Cruz. But yeah, Joe Madureira, True Beautiful Love, great covers. Let's close this one. This is a bummer because Joe Madureira on the inside, then you open it up, and we started with Joe Madureira, this cool adventure in space, and then somebody fills in the story, and it's just not the same. Here, Carlos Pacheco, and this, who is this guy? Luke Ross, maybe? Melvin Ruby. Okay, I don't want to, like, everybody who draws a comic and draws it great is good, but and also great art, but just I was such a huge Joe Madureira fanboy because of this. Like, look at this. This one I drew one time for a girl. Very cheesy, very simpy, but I drew her something, and I wanted her to like me, and I drew her face in, and yeah, just the storytelling and the scenes. Something was very right about Joe Madureira, and it's worth to study him and to pick up some of these issues and to align yourself with this kind of power. I will do this as soon as I have the time. And yeah, the storytelling was also really great. They go here into some spaceship. They strap up, and then, yeah. Okay, let's come to a close, and this is, I think, almost where the Joe Madureira era then ends. From then on, it's more and more different artists, and then Carlos Pacheco, which is great, but didn't do it for me. So I hope you have a great time, and we see us. Let me see if I can do a thumbnail out of this. Yeah, see ya.